All right, guys, let's answer some questions that I frequently get asked. How do I draw a desert sheep tag? So we're gonna jump right into this. Is gonna be a desert sheep video. This is going to be the last video in this installment on the deer draw because in Arizona, it is the deer and desert sheep draw and turkey draw and youth javelina draw and bison draw. But I don't really need to talk about any of the other ones. I don't need to talk about bison. I don't really need to talk about turkey. And I don't really need to talk about youth javelina, which it just doesn't really apply to a lot of people. But desert sheep does. And for whatever reason, look, there's only 100 some tags that we give out in Arizona, and only 10% of those tags go to non-residents, but it's such a coveted tag that it does need to be addressed. So, and there's a lot of questions that I always get asked, and guys, it doesn't really matter, okay? You're gonna see the draw odds here. I'm gonna be showing you draw odds and units and stuff. Literally, if you have max points, which in Arizona in 2023 is, I guess it would be 34 points is max points, your best draw odds are still hovering around 10%. So 8 to 10% in the most subprime units Arizona has for desert sheep. So what does that mean? That means you have like really low chance of getting drawn. We only give out so many tags, but something to keep in mind as a resident, you can draw for either Rocky or desert. So keep in mind of the Rocky Mountain sheep tags. It's pretty cool. You can actually do either one, and a non-resident, you can do those too. So check out the draw odds on the Rocky sheep. It's not really any different, but desert sheep is the main one because we hold a lot of desert sheep. And we're one of the few states that actually has desert sheep. Nevada has some of the best desert sheep hunting in the United States, accompanied with the best draw odds. So that's a good combination to have if you're in Nevada. Mexico, old Mexico, has desert sheep, but you have to pay for them. And they are very, very expensive. They go from basically $40,000 to $120,000, depending on where you're hunting and if they are free range or not and all that kind of stuff. So as a resident, if you have max points or if you have any points, because no matter what, guys, you have to get extremely lucky to draw a desert sheep tag. So try to draw a tag, obviously apply. First things first, you never ever want to put in for a bonus point for sheep. Whether you're a non-resident or resident, never ever buy a bonus point. The reason why you never ever want to apply for a bonus point only tag is because you want to have the shredded percentage, the tiny little bit of percent that you actually have a chance of drawing a tag. You want that in the bucket every single year. Because as I've just pointed out, it doesn't matter if you have max points. You're never going to be guaranteed a sheep tag. So there's no point in buying a bonus point. The only point of putting in for desert sheep is putting your name in the hat and getting crazy lucky if you draw. So never ever buy a sheep point, ever, ever, ever. If you draw the tag and you have some kind of business thing, cancel it. If you are out of the country, cancel it. If you have anything else going, cancel it. And the seasons are pretty good, guys. You have some time. So if you draw a desert sheep tag, it's not a 5-day hunt. Most of these hunts are minimum 2 weeks. Sometimes they're a month. Just depends on where you're hunting. So when I'm trying to apply for a desert sheep tag, I usually try to apply for what is kind of called like the glory tag as your first choice. The same rules apply for if you're trying to draw deer or elk. And these rules apply if you're a non-resident or resident. However, if you are a resident, you cannot draw a sheep tag where there is only one sheep tag allotted. They do not allow that to happen. So there has to be more than one sheep tag in a unit allotted. So if you look at the draw odds or somewhere like where it has for non-resident where it says 0.0 chance of drawing, that means they don't even give a non-resident tag in that area. So that's something to keep in mind. They cap it at 10%. So, and that's just how they calculate it all out. But the glory tag first and then like the lesser tag second. It really doesn't matter. But because we do the same thing with elk, because we do the same thing with deer, and it goes like this. For deer, if this makes sense to you, you put in for a strip tag as your first choice, and then you try to draw a tag that you maybe have the points to draw a reasonable thing. The best tag that if you do get crazy lucky, you get lucky, and then a tag that's more reasonable if you actually draw or you're trying to draw a tag. So I always put like for first choice, and this is like not a secret. I'm gonna do this on my application here so very soon. I always put like a 37A tag, okay, for desert sheep because it's right outside of Tucson. There's some giant desert sheep in 37A. There's a couple different hunts. It doesn't matter what hunt you choose. Okay, the guy who draws the first hunt, he's probably going to have a chance at a giant ram. But you know what? If you draw that last hunt too, you're probably going to have a chance at a giant ram. So that's kind of the direction I go. Like first choice, 37A, any hunt. And then the second choice, I'll go something with whatever it is, a little bit better draw odds. I'm still like 1% chance of drawing because I think I have like around 17 or 18 points for desert sheep. But I'll go with something like like 15D, one of the 15D hunts where it's not known for big rams, and maybe I have like 1 or 2% chance to draw. So that's my suggestion. Try to draw, and there's a couple glory tags. Glory tags like some of that stuff outside of North Phoenix, where they're killing these giant rams on the side of these lakes. That's really cool if you can draw one of those. I mean, guys that shoot the governor's tag, those are those units that just produce giant sheep every single year. And the California border, so you got to check out some of that 40A, 40B, all that kind of stuff in there. Great place to hunt sheep. All the stuff that along the board too, like 43A and B. I've hunted 43B, I've guided in 43B, really cool. Lots of sheep there, not too rugged, but the hunt itself isn't going to be that crazy. Like it's not like dull sheep hunting. You're not backpack hunting for desert sheep. You're driving around in your truck or on your boat, and you're glassing rams until you find a good one that you want to shoot, and then you go approach that ram if it's approachable in the condition terrain that it's in, and then you go shoot it. So typically you're not hiking a ton. That being said, some of these units are a little bit more rugged, have a little more wilderness. You may have to hike quite a bit. And a lot of these sheep are in some of that Yuma proving grounds or some of these army bases. So you got to get military clearance. So there is a couple steps in there. Not very difficult, but you have something you have to plan for before you go hunting in some of these areas. Not a big deal. So try to draw a desert sheep tag. Basically, that's all I'm trying to say to you. If you're a non-resident, do not apply for a tag that has one available tag. You cannot statistically draw that. So put in for a tag that's got 3 or 4 different tags available, like 43B, for example, always has like 3 or 4 tags, and then go from there. So at least you have a chance to draw. Don't buy bonus points, and good luck, guys. I hope you draw a desert sheep tag. I hope I draw a desert sheep tag. And that will be a really, really fun. I don't really care if I shoot a giant sheep. Honestly, at that point, if you draw a desert sheep tag, really just going out there and hunting and shooting a sheep, you're amongst like 1% of hunters ever that get that opportunity. So in that, be thankful. If you have already drawn the tag and you're watching this video in the post sometime after you've drawn, then congratulations. I wish you the best. I hope you kill a giant ram. Talk to you guys later. See ya.